Hey guys, Andy here. So I'm actually quite excited for today's unboxing. Most times I'm reviewing phones, I'm going to use them temporarily. I do use them as my main device for 4 or 5 days, and then I'll go back to, at the moment, my Huawei Mate 20 Pro. There's a whole different discussion to be had there about Huawei at the minute, but we'll not approach that. Maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. Anyway, I like OnePlus phones. The original OnePlus, I think I kind of named it my phone of the year or something like that. It was fantastic. It was always so OnePlus. If you don't know them, they used to try and market us that they were flagship killers, and they would cost like half, if not less, than what a flagship would. And they're kind of, as they're progressing, they're pushing themselves closer and closer to the price of these flagships. So my OnePlus 7 that I have here today, OnePlus 7 Pro, sorry, was £700. To be fair, flagships these days are sort of 900 and 1,000 and more, so it is still cheaper, but they're a lot closer to the flagships, and they're not half the price of flagship. Well, I mean, I guess you get some of the bigger memoried flagships and they cost that much, but anyway. And I do generally, so I had the 6T and I really liked it. The hardware was really good. I love the software that OnePlus use, but I fell out with the fingerprint sensor and it was a deal breaker. It just was terrible for me. So I'm praying to God. I know it's a newer version. I'm just praying to God this one works, because I'm actually thinking that this OnePlus 7 Pro could be my new daily. I've been put off some devices like the Pixel 3 XL. I kept thinking, should I go back to that? But I think I'd really missed the ultra-wide angle lens on the back. This has an ultra-wide angle lens on the back. So I'm thinking, well, I don't miss out there, but then what's the camera quality going to be like? That's going to be a big one for me, because I do like a good camera. So that and the fingerprint sensor are going to be the two possible deal breakers. I've tried to sort of prepare myself for the size of this device, and the box has me worried already, because that is a big box. But and again, OnePlus, it's interesting, they've always managed to sort of package their devices really well. I remember the initial unboxing of the original OnePlus, and I was really so impressed that their presentation makes for a really nice unboxing experience. So again, I'm kind of looking forward to be fair, the original OnePlus had a really big box as well, but it was kind of flat and big and square, rather than this one's got quite a bit of bulk to it. So they have a bit of a style as well. They always have this sort of little red sleeve explaining about the OnePlus community. Go beyond speed. Got the 7 on the front and just OnePlus 7 Pro on the side. And as you might have seen on the back there, this is 8GB with 256GB ROM. It's the Nebula Blue. Now you can get mirror grey. There's also an almond coloured one, and you can also get different sizes. So there is a smaller 6GB of RAM, 128GB of storage for $649, or if you want to go upwards, there's a 12GB, 256GB of storage for $799. I was really tempted, to be honest. If John Lewis sold the 12GB, I might have gone for it just for the giggles. I think it's total overkill. I can't see why you need more than 8GB. That's why I'm happy. If John Lewis sold the 8GB one, I've gone with that. Interesting, OnePlus, their shipping, even their fastest shipping was 5 days. I mean, I believe that's one of the reasons I went with John Lewis. And then you get the sort of two-year warranty. It's generally just easier to deal with, I think. It does look nice, doesn't it? It does look nice. They do a good job of presenting their products, I think. What have we got here? So I think there's a case with it. That is the case. Welcome. So I assume invitation letter. I'm supposed to tear that. I don't know if I want to do that. I might just look up what it says online. Even that's kind of, it's like a soft touch, almost rubbery. I don't know, this whole experience just helps sort of, I don't want to say necessarily influence, but you kind of just have that better view of things as you're going in. Okay, I don't really need to, I don't think there's stickers of that. Yeah, okay. I don't really need to look through that, so I have to keep that all neat and tidy. And the rubbery case with a, not sure why that's there. Feels quite solid. Feels a bit better quality than the gap for the camera to pop out. Bit better quality than some of the ones you get with like Xiaomi and people like that, which are a little bit thin in some ways. Let's pop that aside. Right, here's the phone itself. I don't think that's too bad. It is big. It does feel big, but it's not. It doesn't feel ridiculous. That's next to my Mate 20 Pro. I don't think that's crazy, is it? Anyone? Anyone? No. It is only, I mean, millimeters really, isn't it? Put my mate back out of the way. Right, we're going to come back to that. Let's just check what else is in this massive box. So, warp charging. Look at the size of that charging brick. Jesus. So warp charging is, I believe, 30 watts. And it's, I don't know, like 20 minutes. It'll charge from totally flat to 50% or something. I will miss if I make the switch wireless charging. I actually really like to be able to drop my phone onto the little puck next to my bed at the end of the night and not worry about plugging it in. And I go, so there's the cable. I don't think I'll need that. That will be a USB Type-C cable. So that's it. So it is just, it's quite a big brick. I think that's all we're sort of learning at this point. So let's pop that aside as well and bring the phone back in. It does feel, there is a certain weight to it. It is 206 grams. It's 8x8 millimeters thick, which by today's standards, yeah, that's a little bit thick. And 206 grams is a bit heavy. I'm trying to think what the Note 9 was. I'm not even sure the Note 9 was that heavy. So it is a big device. A lot of people kind of comment on it being a big device, and I can see why. There's a weird sort of slightly tacky feeling to the screen. Maybe that's just off the wrapper that I just removed. So initial thoughts, it does feel very nice. That blue, I think that's gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that, lovely. There's the 3 camera array. So we've got an ultra, I don't know what I'm pointing at a particular one. We've got an ultra, we've got a regular wide angle, we've got a zoom, telephoto, like 3 times zoom. So we do have a slidey switch at the side there, which to be honest I've never really made use of. I tend to just have my phone in vibrate mode, but actually there are times I probably should switch it to have sound when I'm expecting a call. Or that is nice. Oh, beautiful. Right, so let's start powering it up, hopefully. Yep, I felt a little knock on the device from the haptic feedback. Let's take that. Can we take this off? Yeah, there we go. Put that aside. Let's talk about some of the specs while it's booting up. Bring the so let's get English. That's fine. Let's quickly go through the specs for you, and then I'll probably get the phone set up. But so we've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855, which is the 7nm chipset. So that's kind of the newer, thinner chipsets. It's got an octa-core CPU, 1 times 2.84 GHz Cryo 485. 3 times 2.42 GHz Cryo 485, 4 times 1.8 GHz Cryo 485. I've never seen that configuration before, I don't think, for a CPU. Octa-core, but it's kind of 3 different speeds. Normally you get 4 of one speed and 4 of another speed, and it switches, depending how stressed it is, it switches between the 2. So that's interesting. Adreno 640 GPU, and as we've said, 8 gig of RAM. There's no SD card slot, there's no headphone jack. It does have stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos. It does have NFC. It doesn't have an IP rating for waterproof, but OnePlus basically say they've done it all. They've tested it themselves. They just didn't want to pay for the license or whatever it's called. No one's particularly sure how much this saves, but apparently it's between $10 to $30 per device. So that's £10 or £30. Would I pay £30 more just to have the sort of... I don't really know how it helps anyway, because if you do damage your device because of water, generally they're going to say, well, you did something wrong because we've tested it and it's fine. With our own test, drop it in water, you don't know how you've done it. So I'm not sure it really helps. There are videos online where they've done the sort of dunk test and things, so you should, I guess, just be happy. The screen is a Fluid AMOLED 6.67 inch 3120 by 1440, so like a 2K screen, a 19.5 to 9 ratio, and that makes it about 516 pixels per inch. The big headline, it being, well, I suppose there's 2 headlines. One is the lack of any kind of bezel, really. and the other is that it's 90 hertz. So that's the refresh rate. That's a bit like a frames per second if you're playing a computer game. So it should make everything flow very nicely. It's got Corning Gorilla Glass protecting it, and it's got the on-screen fingerprint sensor. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'll get logged into it. I'll get a few bits installed. I'll probably nip outside, take a couple of photos so we can have a look at those, and then I'll come back to you. Hey guys, so that was longer than normal for me. For you, doesn't matter, but probably an hour or so for me, because I did select, right, let's copy apps over from a previous device, which I haven't done before, and I think it's OnePlus's own software. They basically say, right, do this, do that, and it just, well, it says it copies data and information across from your previous phone. So I did that. That took a bit longer. Then it basically was installing all the apps, like 122 apps I had to install, so I waited for it to do that. They did updates. I did nip outside and take some photos and video though, so we can have a look at those. Fun enough, there was also though a firmware update came through, so I did that after I'd been outside, and one of the things it said was improved camera quality optimizations or something like that. So I'm not going to go back out again. To be honest, this is a quick first look. In the review, there will be much more about the camera. I'll do some sample footage as well as separate videos. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Right, first thing I'm going to start off with the fingerprint sensor. Boom! It works! There was one moment where I panicked because it wasn't working. I think maybe because the phone was at a different angle. No, I mean, it's fine. But yeah, I did like 3 or 4 attempts and it said, no, give you a PIN number. Poo! But I've put on 4 different fingers. Well, you know, if you call it a thumb. I thought. Alright, so maybe I need to re-record my left thumb. But generally, it seems pretty reliable. It seems very quick. And I'm really happy because I was so concerned that would be... It's just a deal breaker. If I can't unlock my phone with I've got to type something in, like I'm some kind of Neanderthal, because we all know Neanderthals' smartphones didn't have fingerprint readers. It would have really annoyed me, and it would have been a deal breaker, but we look to be okay. Thus far, that's fine. Thus far, so I've not had a proper play with it really because I've been waiting for it to install things, but it does seem very quick and slick. I love, let's just have a look at the back of that. I love this blue. It looks even better outside. I've probably got a bit of footage there that I can show you of me shimmering it in the sunshine. Really nice blue. So should we have a look at the sort of camera first? Let's bring the camera app up. I like that it's quite a simple app, so we can swipe it left to right to change the different things that we're doing. Again, nice and smooth. When we're in video, for example, you've got the options there. That's where you change what sort of quality you might want. We'll stick with 4K for the minute. Likewise with the photos, so you can make it full frame. It's quite nice. Oops. And all of that, and then obviously, how cool is that? I like even the little, watch for the little hint of blue that appears when it's opening. Now, not that I can, there you go, oh, not the camera, free fall detecting the camera, so that's quite cool as well. Oops, spitting on it there. I don't know how, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a danger if you drop your phone and that camera is out and it hits it, that could shatter off. Jerry Riggs Everything, or whatever his YouTube name is, did a video. He basically took the back off. He showed you the workings of the. For a while I was thinking, should I download his and show a look? I thought I better not. But I'll tell you, go and look at him. You probably, I mean, he's got like, I don't know, 7 million followers. You're more likely to know him than you are knowing me. But I thought I won't nick his stuff. Let's have a look at that. It's just motorized. OnePlus, they claim that you could operate that camera 150 times a day for 5 years and you'd be okay. They've done that many raising and lowerings of the camera. I think there's a Face ID type thing. I'll look into that at some point. So we've seen the camera software. It seems very quick with the shutter. But let's have a look at some of the pictures we took. So indoors, I went to the wide angle lens straight away and just took a photo of my board games, or mine and my brother's board games on the wall. Looked okay, looked good. A little bit overexposed perhaps, but okay. Went outside, took standard shots across the garden. Colours look good. Generally looks like a reasonably nice picture. So I thought, well, let's see how the wide angle and telephoto compares to the wide angle. Then you can see how much more you get in. And again, it looks slightly washed out, maybe, but generally not a bad picture. Then we switch over to the zoom, and obviously you can see there the difference that you get. So that's quite good. I do quite like the ×3 as a concept, I suppose, as opposed to like a ×2. So that's pretty good. And then just another random picture of kind of a bush or whatever it is. And again, looks a bit, the greens look a bit pale to me there in the grass on the right, look. But these are perhaps the kind of things that they would improve with the software update that I just had. So you'll need to watch the main review or watch my other videos. Subscribe. Then let's get a bit of video. Generally, let's get a little bit jittery perhaps, but again, that's probably the kind of stuff that gets improved with software updates. So let me switch over to the front-facing camera in the video. It looks okay, I would say. I mean, obviously, people knock the OnePlus cameras, but thus far, there's nothing that would make you think, oh, that's horrific. You know, you're not going to get teased on social media for the pictures that you post. And then we went to just a regular still with the front-facing camera. Again, looks all right, that's pretty good. And then we went to portrait mode, which, again, seems to have worked quite well. It's done the edges around my head quite well, considering we're just one lens at this point. So, the camera, I don't know. I mean, it's not pixel quality. As someone mentioned on a thread I was reading, it's about the consistency. With a pixel, you're going to point, shoot, and you're fairly confident it's going to be a good photo. That's what we need to see on the OnePlus. How consistent is it? So, a couple of the pictures I've taken already, they look pretty good, but a couple of them look a little bit overexposed. So, we will see. Software-wise, I've not really mentioned just yet, but this is running Android Pie. With Oxygen OS 9, and it generally, I love them because they're generally quite stock looking. So Android version 9, look, there's the build number should everyone want to see it. I didn't really talk about the cameras, the megapixels actually, should have mentioned. So it's 48 for the regular, 16 for the ultra wide angle, and 8 for the zoom. And the front facing is not 16 megapixel f2.0. The regular one, sorry, the 48 megapixel f1.6 with optical image stabilization. So that's pretty good. I've turned on gestures as well. So to go back, you swipe up from a corner, either corner, or if you wanted to go, give it a second, home, you do that. If you wanted to switch apps, you do that. And it is all very slick and smooth. So while we're whizzing past YouTube, let's go into that. Now I'm going to try, normally I whack on Ed Sheeran, but I keep getting in trouble with YouTube for that, so we're going to Sony 4K captures. I think that was fantastic. Really nice screen, really nice screen. Yeah, borrowing a Sony 4K demo. So it's a 2K screen, as I mentioned. It is AMOLED, and it does look really nice. The lack of bezel, so we can zoom back out. We can't see them now, but there are black bars down the side. There we go. So you can zoom back in like so. Yeah, I think that looks a really nice screen. So crisp, so sharp, good colours. You do get, when I was installing, you got the option to kind of select vivid colours, natural colours, and something else. And I went with vivid. I'm okay with that. Yeah, really quite impressive, I think. And the speakers, as you heard there briefly, the stereo speakers with the Dolby Atmos. Again, I might need to turn Dolby on. You sometimes do with these devices. Speakers seemed really good. To me, they're quite important. I do like listening to podcasts. I do like most of my phone calls. I just put the phone on the desk and I use the speakers. Unless I'm like at work or in a public place, obviously, but at home. What else do we need to look at? Oh, I know what we need to look at. We need to have a look at Geekbench. So let's get that started. Is there anything else? So I think I mentioned the battery. Well, I probably didn't. Battery is 4,000 milliamp hours LiPo battery. It's got warp charger. I definitely mentioned that, 30 watts. In fact, I did just try it. I plugged the main proper charger in. You plug it in, you get this kind of like special effect on the screen showing you it's warp charging. That's quite cool. No wireless charging. I think I'm really going to miss wireless charging. We'll see. So I think that's mainly what I'll do. So obviously what we'll need to do is let Geekbench 4 run, and I'll come back so we can have a look at the results. One thing I didn't mention yet when I was talking about the specs is the UFS file system. They're on to version 3. I'll double check when I do the review. But basically it's the newer file system that only the Samsung Fold was going to have had. So I think this is the first released phone with the new faster file system, which is supposed to make like installing apps quicker and just generally, I think I think Raju did. I'll try and remember to link his video, a video about it. I think was it him? I'm not sure now. About the write speeds, or somebody definitely did. And it's not massively different when you do file transfers off your memory stick, because I think actually the memory stick's the kind of the bottleneck in some ways. Anyway, it's moving quickly through Geekbench 4, but we'll come back in a second to see the result. And we're back, and I can tell you it's set a new record for me, 11,294. My previous best was my Huawei Mate 20 Pro, which did just over 10,000. So that is pretty impressive. I mean, it's kind of to be expected, but that is quite impressive. So there we go. I think really, so now it's just a matter of, let me know in the comments down below if you have any kind of questions, anything you want me to cover in the review. I will be using this for a week or so, and then I'll get the review done. There will be other videos, like I'll get some, I'll probably do a head-to-head against my Mate 20 Pro with the cameras as well, for that matter, on some video tests. So subscribe if you haven't. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. For now, my name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon. Well done, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you might want to click the little fellow that should hopefully appear about here to subscribe. You may also want to check out some of my other videos, which are going to appear somewhere there. Also, come and have a look at my website, androidandy.uk. There is also a forum. Come and say hello on the forum if you've got any questions about things, or request me to review things, or anything else. Just come and have a chat on the forum.